Okay guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to help you get the perfect setup. We're going to focus on 4 key points. Number 1, grip. Number 2, stance. Number 3, alignment. And number 4, ball position. So let's start by focusing on the grip first. Okay, so in golf there's 2 types of grips. We have the interlock grip, which is when our index finger on the left hand and the pinky finger on the right interlock together like so. This is the grip that Tiger Woods used and continues to use to this day. We then have the overlap grip. So the overlap grip is when the left hand is on the club and you create sort of like a little gap between your index finger and your middle finger for your pinky on your right to simply rest in the middle. Okay, so those are the 2 types of grip. Now, when you look down at the ball, I want you to always be able to see on your right hand how you create like a V between your thumb and your index finger on your right hand that runs up through your right shoulder. And the checkpoint for the left hand is to make sure when you look down, you can always see 1 and 2 knuckles. If you see less than 2 knuckles on your left hand, the club face will tend to be open in the downswing. And if you see more than 2 knuckles, let's say 3 or 4 now, the club face will tend to close, which will encourage that shot to the left, which is not what we want to see. So again, make sure you can see only 2 knuckles on that left hand, and then that V you create on your right is going up through your right shoulder. Okay, so that's the grip. Next we have stance. So how do we set up and stand for a golf shot? Okay, so first things first, I want you to have your arms and hands hanging in a natural position. Okay, if your hands are too far away, okay, it will affect your swing plane going up and coming down. And if your hands are too close to your body like so, then the club will tend to be picked up with your hands going back. So wherever your hands and arms hang naturally is where your club needs to be. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, as you can see here, I have my knees slightly bent. This allows me to have a nice athletic posture, which will then help me rotate and be more athletic on the way back and on the way through. Okay, so a little bit of knee flexion here. And the last point for the stance is to make sure our back and bum, or our back, sorry, first, should be a little bit arched and bent over the ball. Okay, and our bum is slightly sticking back. So imagine you are watching football and you're a goalkeeper. If you think of a goalkeeper, they stand like this to catch the ball. This is a very similar position we have our stance in the golf swing. Okay, so arms hanging naturally, back more arched over, and bum slightly back with the knees slightly bent. Okay, so that's grip and stance. We now have ball position. So I've got 3 balls here. Okay, and ball position is something that's sometimes overlooked in the golf swing. Okay, it's very important to understand where to place each ball, because if not, it will affect your golf swing. So I've got a 7-iron here in my hands, and the 7-iron will always be sort of in the middle, slightly ahead of center. If I take my 4-iron, for example, you will notice how I'm going to set up to that ball with it being slightly more forward in my stance. And if I then take a driver, which is the longest club in the bag, of course, we then have the ball position almost in line with our left foot. Okay, so 7-iron is going to be more in the middle of our stance, like so. 4-iron is going to be just ahead of the middle. And then last but not least, the driver, we're going to have it just inside our left heel. Okay, so that's ball position. Last but not least, we're going to talk about alignment. Okay, so when you're setting up to the golf ball and you have your flag in the distance, you want to make sure that you always have 3 things in line with that flag. Okay, we're going to have the club face pointing to our target. We're going to have our feet line pointing towards our target. And last but not least, our shoulders as well. Because if my feet are aiming this way, subconsciously my mind on the way down will know that target's over here, and because I'm aiming too far right in this occasion, I will try and compensate on the way down by swinging over the top to try and get that ball to start straight, okay? So also, ball position and alignment is very key in golf to get right in order to hit good shots, okay? So, quick recap. Grip, we have interlock, overlap. The checkpoints for the grip. Make sure on your left hand you can see 2 knuckles looking down. And on your right hand, make sure you create that V pointing up through your right shoulder, okay? In terms of stance, make sure that you have a little bit of knee flexion in your knees, okay? Your arms are hanging naturally below your chin. Your back is slightly bent over, okay? So head's on top of the ball. And then finally, make sure you have your bum a little bit back, okay? Ball position, as I mentioned earlier, just a quick recap again. For a 7-iron and below, so 7-iron down to a wedge, we're going to have the ball in the center of our stance. For a 7-iron and above, we shift the ball more towards the left foot, so the front part of the stance. And for a driver, we place the ball just inside our left heel. And finally, for alignment, you want to make sure that your feet, club face, and shoulders are pointing towards your target. Once you've found those 4 things, you're good to go and you can make good swings. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and I'll see you in the next one.